Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now today guys, I do have a game from GLSnute, the blue Zerg player in the top right, and he is up against NOSBingo, who is the red Terran player in the lower left. And well, this should be an absolutely amazing ZvT. I'm really looking forward to it. The map's Daybreak. As anyone who frequently watches my cast will know, this is my favourite map in all of the map pool on the ladder, and it is just so good. I love it. It's got a big long rush distance, it's got a little bit of dead space around the bases for a little bit of poking and prodding with air units. You've got a tiny little cliff there, and well, it's got a nice progression of bases, each getting slightly more risky because you're spreading out, and especially this middle base. I think this is a great base because obviously if the rocks in the middle come down, it is so exposed. The watchtowers are in good places. Everything is really nice about this map. I like it a lot. Now, so far out of bingo, we do have just that supply depot down close to the command center. Now that screams to me I'm gonna be going for either a 1-max command center or much more likely a command center first build. The reason for that being is because obviously there's no wall off, so if you're not trying to get a wall off, then probably not going to see much else. But there we go with the barracks, so in a wall off position. So this is a slightly unusual build at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see how it does play out for bingo. Now Snute, on the other hand, he's going to be going for a hatchery any second. It's going to be a 15 hatch 16 pool, because that is what you do against Terran as Zerg. There is no better opening, which isn't cheesy. This is basically what you do. You get that at 15, and just like Snute has done. And the way you time that is when you get up to 200 minerals, you get one of your drones and you bring it down, and it'll be there just in time to basically build the hatchery. Now, as you can see out of Snute at the moment, no scouting drone. Again, not really needed. He's sending these overlords off. This overlord coming down here just to keep an eye out for proxy barracks or anything like that. This area is somewhere I like to try and get some scouting done, because that is another great location to put something you may not want. Bingo, on the other hand, is, well, he's doing okay. He's sending that SCV out. He's going to go and get some information. Coming the opposite way it would naturally go, so that's quite interesting. Snute has gone and done a little check for what could be there. Now, I'm getting a little bit nervous about what Bingo could be doing, our Terran buddy here, because, well, obviously that command center is slightly delayed. Now, the only reason I could foresee in getting it a little bit later than that is if you want to have the money there for something else, but at the moment it's not looking like that, so it could just be an error. That is always something that does occur no matter what level of the game you play. Snute doing a little bit of extractor tricking there just to try and push out a bit more dronage before the overlord. The spawning pool is now done, the queen in production. The second queen should start nearly instantly, and that is really what you want to do, so you get your inject synced up just to make things a little bit easier. No matter what technique you go for in your injects, you always want to make sure that they are synced up, because it just makes things a bit easier. At least that's my opinion. Now here we go, we've got double barracks following this up. Something slightly more unusual. Usually after a 1-max command center, you tend to see double gas taken down, and the reason for that is then you get the factory reactor Hellions out, not to deal damage but to gain map control. So going into this double barracks after that means it's going to be very infantry heavy, and I'll be very curious to see exactly what Bingo does here with that, because there's a couple of different options. The fact he's got the double gas now suggests to me that he will be going for some kind of tech, maybe even a double tech lab for something like stim and combat shield. That's a possibility. More likely though, just one tech lab, 2 reactors to get out stim, and an awful lot of marines. And of course the third natural base rather just down now for Bingo, morphing into an orbital command. Those mules will help him massively. Well, for the moment, Snute doesn't really have much information about what's going on. I don't think he even knows that base has started. He knows a marine is there though, and again that is a bit of a giveaway if you know the marines there. It's stopping an overlord getting to here. But as a game I cast about last week, I think, I can't remember which game it was though, we saw exactly this. A player be very dominant in preventing any kind of scouting into their natural because they didn't have a base and it was a 1-base play. The opponent basically assumed, as I would, that there's an expansion there, and as a result had no defense ready to basically hold it off. Now, Roach One coming down for Snute, that's probably in preparation for an awful lot of Hellions. That's what I would be preferring for if I was a Zerg player, because Hellions are pretty much the go-to build. The factory is on its way now, but obviously after those 2 barracks, so going to be very, very late Hellions, and it really makes me question what's the worth of them at that point, because if you've got the 2 racks up before that anyway, with a reactor and tech lab on, then, well, it's those Hellions, they're going to come really late, and by which point the Zerg player is going to have a lot of stuff. Speed will be done, roaches can potentially be out, and it actually looks like Snute is going for a bit of a two-place play right here, which of course is the option you go for. You have two options when you see a Terran player go for that natural expansion early. Take a third or go and kill them. And it looks like Snute is a really big supporter of just being aggressive, and I think that can be a good move, especially when there isn't a wall off or anything like that, because this is just going to do so much damage right now. There is a second bunker on its way. There is, of course, that single Marine at the watchtower, sacrificing his own life to get the information, hopefully to save this. SCV's already getting pulled, ready to defend. But, of course, the Hellions are coming out, but with so many roaches there, they may not do too well. The bunker getting focused down very quickly. Reinforcements are coming in, but the bunker is taken out exceptionally fast. The second bunker is there, though, but with so many roaches and, well, the Zerglings there as well, the Zerglings going to absolute town on those workers. The roaches need to really start deciding what they're going to focus down, because that bunker is not falling at the moment. A couple more Zerglings are on the way in. Units just streaming across the map at the moment for Snute, and he has now picked off all the workers defending that bunker, which basically means it will go down, but of course there is still another wall up. A third bunker is up there right now, so basically Bingo is really turtled up, and it's going to be tough for Snute to push through. He needs to use those roaches though to prevent the head-ins. He's losing way too many Zerglings in what I can only really describe as sloppy. You don't want to be losing the Zerglings when you are already low on units. We've got a lot more coming across the map right now. Those roaches are getting completely taken out, and that was not a good follow-up. And of course, just more Zerglings are streaming in. If they do pin the head-ins, they will do incredibly good damage, but, well, it's not going too badly. The supply depot is down at the moment, but that is because Bingo is clearly feeling quite safe. That Hellion does survive, Miracle Hellion, and, well, behind this Snute, has he done enough damage? Well, he's killed 8 workers. It does put him ahead by 5, but of course with 2 mules out on the field, that isn't enough in my opinion. I think Bingo is in a very good spot right now. He defended that perfectly, salvaging the bunker because there's no real need for that anymore. He has defended the big pressure, and well, mass spine crawlers out actually by Snute, so he is clearly thinking there's going to be a big counter push at some point. If I was Bingo, I'm not sure I'd go for the counter push. I think I'd just sit back and relax right now. Or not relax, but sit back and macro hard. Possibly even try and squeeze out a third command center, because there's no reason you wouldn't be able to, especially when you've just seen Snute commit so much. You know you're probably going to be economically ahead, or at least economically equal. Now Snute is trying to take his third hatchery. If we look up, he's getting his lair down as well, and as the 1-1 upgrade's coming down, but again really quite late. The starport is going to help massively, because obviously once those medevacs start coming out, you get drops, and Snute isn't in a position to defend drops. He's committed a lot of static defense at the front of his natural. If you're attacking the third with units while dropping at the main, on Daybreak that is very difficult to deal with because they are so spread, especially when Snute has committed a lot to a push early on. But here comes the counterplay, and that third base, I'd be amazed if Snute manages to hold that. It'd be an absolutely miracle defense, but once it does go down, to be honest, Snute, he is going to struggle, because the second that hatchery falls, he's on equal basis with the Terran, who is macroing hard behind this, and well, that third base is not looking good. We do have Zerglings coming from the rear, trying to basically prevent any escape of these Terran units. The third base is forced to cancel. The Hellion's going for a counter-attack, it would appear. A third command center is getting produced right now, but there is already Marines there, and well, those Marines not only spot everything that's going on, they're getting microed effectively. The stim pack was used brilliantly, and well, that counter Ling run by did nothing. If we look at the worker count now, 42 to 46, the third command center is already in production now for Bingo, which means that he will be a base up at one point. Well, very shortly he'll actually be a base up, and that is going to help him so much. He's going to get economically ahead, and he's already arguably economically ahead and in a great spot tech-wise. He's got that starport down. He's now just starting up with the tank production. Those tanks haven't been rushed, which you do see a lot of Terra players rush them up, but of course Marines and medevacs are very powerful, especially against this composition. And here we go, we've got a big push coming in, some great stim play here right now. Those spine crawlers getting focused down, but the Zerglings are the threat. The Banelings coming in now, going to see some merciful micro, but unfortunately there was a little slip up. That was definitely a slip up in the micro. He started to split them and then clicked towards the Banelings, which may have been a mistake, and that really was a big win for Snute right there. If those Banelings hadn't connected so incredibly, I think he would have pretty much lost the game by now, because that push was devastating. Now, a handful of Zerglings are still there, but of course this little group should be able to clean it up. We do have an Overlord generating creep, And well, that of course will delay the third base quite a lot. I mean, I think it's almost up over a minute actually it takes for the creep to recede fully. So that is very, very irritating. And well, we've got those medevacs. They are getting completely surrounded by those Zerglings at the moment. But a good pickup means most of those units do get away safe and sound. We do have a couple more Marines on the way over. This wall off isn't complete, I don't think. I think there's a small gap there. I may be incorrect, however. Now, the tanks doesn't have siege mode yet. We don't have much in terms of production. Bingo lifting at what is possibly the worst time ever, and Snute is able to get a lot of Zerglings in. That bunker getting focused down, the tank falls, that is a big loss right there. The bunker going down as well. Meanwhile, we've got a counter push to the third base, but that gets fungal growth by an infestor, and well, this game is suddenly getting completely crazy. Bingo was in a very, very good spot, but he has lost quite a bit at the moment. However, those two banelings, if they connect with the mineral line, are going to be absolutely traumatizing to Bingo right there, because basically two banelings kill SCVs, but we will see the Marines get there just in time to negate the threat. But look at this, an awful lot of Zerglings on their way over. Of course, these are 1-1 Zerglings now. They are up against a Terran army that has no upgrades at all. And well, while there is an infestor happily sitting there, it is going to try and run away. A good fungal growth goes off, and well, what are all these Zerglings going to do? They're streaming across the map. Snute is so committed to this push now. He's behind in workers. When you factor in the mules as well, that means he is very economically behind. He is going to get a good surround on all of those Marines. How well they'll do at the moment? Well, they do get lifted, which of course is the safe thing to do. Now, of course, one tank out on the field, and the second tank has now just popped, but it is not sieged up. That means those Zerglings are able to get a good surround on it. They do take down an awful lot of stuff. We'll talk with the armor upgrade. They don't die to a single tank hit, and well, we do have an infestor there, but not enough energy for a fungal growth. I was looking at all those stacked up SCVs there thinking, my god, that could be bad times. But here comes the second infestor, still not enough energy. God, fungal, look at that. That is terrible and wonderful all at the same time. A lot of SCVs severely hurt. Now, meanwhile, Zerglings in the main base, they have been taken out pretty much for the whole right now. Snute is still pumping more units. He's got some banelings morphing. I'm surprised he didn't go with banelings at the first place. 19 banelings now morphing in. That is very, very big. That single overlord is still being a nightmare, delaying this third base. And that overlord alone, this generation of creep at the third base, is literally the saving grace of Snute right now. It's preventing his opponent getting too economically ahead. The banelings are not connecting as well as they have done. A great pickup. That was probably the best move. The banelings, if I were the banelings, I'd go for that mineral line, and that looks exactly what Snute is planning on doing. That could be some big damage, and that is a huge baneling hit right there on all of those SCVs. Oh my god, that is traumatic, and that does put Snute heavily ahead in terms of the income. Bingo leaves the game knowing he has lost it right then and there. So guys, if you did enjoy the cast, please subscribe, because I get new top level games up every single day of the week. Leave a cool comment below and like the video as well, because that would be just sweet as. And also follow me on Twitter, that would be cool if you can do that too. Now obviously, if you haven't had your fill of StarCraft, flick over to my channel, because I've got hundreds and hundreds of more replays there as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Madals, and this was a StarCraft 2 England cast. Bye for now.